Shavua Tov, a Gute Woche. I would like to tell story number 135 of the Shivchei Baal Shem Tov. That is the oldest source of Baal Shem Tov stories ever published. And the title of story 135 is Hazara haBaal Shem Tov, Hazara haBaal Shem Tov, the Rabbah shel Ostraha. The warning of the Baal Shem Tov to the Rav of Ostraha. Ostraha or Ostro. Presently is a city in western Ukraine, important to the story, relevant to the story. At the time, it was part of the Kingdom of Poland, as well as the area where the Baal Shem Tov lived. It was part of Poland, and the border was farther east, the border with Ukraine. We'll see why. It says the author of the Shivchei Baal Shem Tov, Rav Dobrov of Linitz, Shamati, I heard this story from the Rav of our Kehillah, from the Rav of our community, meaning Rav Gedali of Linitz, that the Baal Shem Tov was in the Kehillah of Kaminka, and he told Rav Baruch of Kaminka, one of his disciples, when the Rav of the Kehillah of Ostraha comes here, tell him in my name that the Rav, the Chacham Tzvi, his father, visited me and asked me to tell him, to tell his son, meaning to tell him, not to ever travel to the lands of Ukraine. Remember, they were in the borders of Poland, never crossed the border, never go into the land of Ukraine. How did this Chacham Tzvi come to visit the Baal Shem Tov? By the time this story comes to happen, the Chacham Tzvi was already gone from this world for about 35 or 40 years. Now the Baal Shem Tov tells Rav Baruch, he will not believe that I have seen him. He's been gone for 35 or 40 years. I'm adding that part out of my own research. This is not in the book. So the Baal Shem Tov says, how is he going to believe it? He's not going to want to believe it. So you will give him these simanim, these signals. The father looks like this and like this, and his movements and his manners are like this and like this, and his clothing is like this and that. And he's using this type of short socks called the shkartkes. One detail. So when this Rav, the son of the Chacham Tzvi, Rav Meshulam Zalman Ashkenazi, arrived to the community of Kaminka, this Rav Baruch told him all the words of the Baal Shem Tov, everything the Baal Shem Tov told him. When he heard all these simanim, all these signals, how his father was, he believed. And he asked him about what the Baal Shem Tov said, and he asked all the disciples that lived in Kaminka. And then he asked for some davar Torah, some words of Torah that they had heard from the Baal Shem Tov. So Rav Yosef of Kaminka came forward and said that the Baal Shem Tov gave a peirush on a pasuk on Rashi, gave an explanation, the peirush of Rashi, the explanation of the commentary of Rashi on the pasuk Asher Nasi Yechta, which is in Vayikra in Leviticus 4:22, talking about a leader of the tribes, a leader of the Jewish people, who inadvertently transgresses. So you hear this explanation, and the author of the Shivchei Baal Shem Tov says, I heard that explanation from the Rav of the Kehillah of Polnai, meaning Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, but I forgot it, but I'm sure it's found in his books. Yes, there is a source that mentions exactly what he explains. I'm not going to go into these details. But what matters is that this Nasi, this leader of the Jewish people, inadvertently transgresses by forgetting. He forgets in one moment and he does something he shouldn't. So the author of the Shivchei Baal Shem Tov forgot what the peirush was, but that's the pasuk. When Rav Meshulam Zalman Ashkenazi heard what the Baal Shem Tov explained, what was said in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, he was very impressed. The explanation was very good to him, and he felt that he needed to repeat it in the community of Ostraha, where he was the Rav. So he went back without ever visiting the country of Ukraine. But then, in his old age, he did go to Ukraine. Nasi Asher Chata. He was a leader of the Jewish people and he forgot. He transgressed. He did go to Ukraine. And he died in the community, in the Kehila Kadosh, in the holy community of Chabastov. Meaning, once he went to the Ukraine, what his father had warned not to do through the Baal Shem Tov, he passed away. He met his death. So this is the third of these azharos, of these warnings that come through the Baal Shem Tov. This one we know comes from this great Chacham called the Chacham Tzvi. But through the Baal Shem Tov, how does he visit the Baal Shem Tov? That's a spiritual matter, and I don't exactly know. I gave an explanation on the thumbnail that he's visiting him in a dream, possibly, maybe not, I don't really know. Point being, when the tzaddik gives you a warning, when the Rebbe gives you a warning, is for you to listen, right? I think that's the simple meaning of it. As always, I dedicate these stories to our brethren in Eretz Israel through these difficult days of war, wherever they may be, as well as the Jewish people all over the world. May we all be protected by Hashem in days of trials, and may everybody have a good week. Shavua Tov, a good Tavoch. Please come back every week. See the stories of the Baal Shem Tov I'm telling. Give me a like, subscribe, contribute to my efforts to tell the stories and translate them. I am working on translating the entire book from Hebrew to Spanish with the hopes to publish it. I appreciate contributions to this end. Please see links in the description. Shavua Tov, a good Tavoch.